Okay, welcome back. If you are new here, then hello, my name is Christine and I had a breast reduction 17 days ago. So I've done 2 other videos at this point. The first one was pre-op, about 1 week before I had the operation. The other one, the last one that I did, was about exactly 1 week after the operation. It's been obviously just about a week since then, and that brings me to what, like 2.5 weeks, 17 days, and not a lot has changed in that amount of time, so this isn't going to be a super long video. The other 2 videos were both only about 15 minutes anyways, but the things that I wanted to update are more so about my first post-op appointment that I had last Friday. So at that appointment, I found out a couple things, or like it just didn't go exactly how I thought it was going to. Overall, my recovery is going very smoothly, so I'm very thankful, super happy with the results so far. Outside of the appointment and just how I'm feeling at this point, I feel like I'm pretty much back to normal energy levels for the most part. But when I have a full day of activities, I end up sore. So it's not so much that I don't have energy, it's just that like they hurt. And you know, walking, driving, there's so many more bumps driving than you realize until you have a surgery like this. And then every little jolt, you're like, oh my God. So there's that. And then nipple sensation, oh my God. So I didn't really like have a whole heck of a lot to start with like before surgery, because you know, those are important things for you to know. But now, like at this stage of recovery, first of all, it's cold outside because it's winter. It's December, almost January, and it's been in between like 30, 40, tops 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Every time I go out, even just like when I wake up in the morning, no, all the time. All the time. Every single time I get even like a hint of cool, it's not just sensation, it hurts. So that's been uncomfortable. And then I've only been taking Tylenol when I really need it. I guess mainly at like bedtime, just hoping to get better sleep. I still have probably just as much bruising, but it kind of comes in waves. So like one day it'll look better, one day it'll look worse. Swelling, honestly, it hasn't gone down enough for me to really notice a difference, but again, I'm only just over 2 weeks, so that's not really surprising. I'm expecting and hoping to see a difference in the next couple of weeks, but for now, I feel like I'm pretty much right where I should be. Sleeping still sucks, just being honest. Still trying to sleep on my back as much as possible. In my last video, I showed that my incisions don't go very far to my side, so I'm fortunate in that things just haven't been as impaired for me as they are for a lot of people, and I wasn't given drains. So those 2 things combined have made sleeping probably easier for me than a lot of people, but it's still very uncomfortable, and just it doesn't feel like it's good for me to sleep on my sides. Like they just, within like 5 minutes of not even like full side sleeping, but like, I don't know how to explain this, like leaning like this, like my head is facing this way, so I'm not on my back, but I'm like tilted, and it's just like, it alleviates that feeling of I don't want to be on my back anymore, but it's also not like on your side comfortable either. That's that for sleeping. It's a struggle, but obviously it's worth it. Well, for me, it feels like it's obviously worth it. It's not fun, but I would do the whole thing all over again already. On that note, at my appointment on Friday, the doctor, after looking at my size, currently with swelling considered, asked me how I felt about it, and I made sure that the first thing that I said was that I'm thankful, because I do know that I'm like way more proportionate now than I was before, but I also wish that I could be smaller. And then I asked him how much swelling he thinks I have left, and he said still probably quite a bit, maybe a cup's worth. That considered, I feel like in the end, like I'm already happy with the difference. It's just that like if I could have been smaller, I'd be happy to. So when we had this conversation, he explained to me that he had already considered, and they actually said this to me on surgery day, but I figured that it was something that they just say to everybody, that they might not be able to accomplish as much as they wanted to in one surgery, and therefore a second surgery might be like necessary. So that's when he said, at about 5 months, when the blood vessels have like healed or like new ones have formed and nerves have like made their new connections and everything, that then it would be safe to go back in and do another surgery, basically do another breast reduction. And he asked me what I thought about that, and I was just honest, and I was like, honestly, I'm not sure. Honestly. I told him I wasn't sure. He said that that was perfectly fine, and that because unless something goes off in the next 5 months, I'm probably not going to go in until then anyways, so that when I go in next, we can talk about it, and that it's already basically pre-approved for me to have another breast reduction should I choose it. At that point, it will be more so aesthetic than medically necessary, because they already took enough. They already took about 1 pound from each one. So that has alleviated a lot of strain off my back. That said, I'm still probably about a 32 triple D. And that's, I mean, it's still on the big side. I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna want at that point. I just figured I'd mention it now. The second thing about my appointment, I was expecting to have the steri strips, like the tape that's on the incisions, removed and have new stuff replaced, just from what I had seen from other people going through this process. To my surprise, and honestly I was relieved, I not only didn't have to have it taken off then, pause, at my original surgery they sent me home with a like goodie bag of gauze. I think it's just a bunch of gauze. And then this is the tape I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see. He just told me that I need to let it fall off naturally, and like same instructions still. Don't scrub it in the shower, but it's okay for water and soap to fall over. Wounds and stuff never really freak me out. I'm in school for nursing, and I'm not bothered by blood. I'm not bothered by giving blood. I'm not bothered by any of that. But my own wounds, like my own incisions, it's the first time in my life that I'm like, I don't want to see it. So one of the pieces of tape on, I think it's like the under part of my left, right? Not sure, but I'll show you in part of a video clip, is starting to come up at this point, and the incision lines look really clean. So those are the main things that we talked about at my first post-op appointment. My next post-op appointment, like I said, won't be for another like 5 months, so it'll end up being at about the 6-month mark. And I had one last thing that I want to talk about, but I'm trying to make sure. I think those are all the things from the appointment. Oh, and I have like most feeling back pretty much everywhere, which is surprising. And I know, well, I've heard that it can come and go, but for right now, I, for the most part, have sensation back, which is a really good sign. Okay, so this is where I want to backtrack on something I said in my last video, because I was all excited.
So I think because of that, I have been more mobile than some people are after, or a lot of people are after surgery. Like right now, especially, like arms all the way up to the side, like whatever.
And I was moving my arms all around, and I was jumping into a lot of activity pretty quickly, and as far as like chores and stuff are concerned around the house. And I thought that because I didn't really feel strain on the incisions or anything, that I was fine. I wasn't listening to what the doctor said, and I was just being stubborn because I hate being or feeling lazy and like just sitting around. I get bored and stir crazy. Yeah. Meanwhile, my fiance has been telling me that I shouldn't be doing chores and I should just enjoy this like lazy time, and has been scolding me every time, like every time I was lifting my hands above like this point, telling me like, stop it, knock it off, go sit down, all this stuff. And I was like,
I'm fine, like don't worry about it, it doesn't hurt, I'm good.
Even like carrying laundry baskets around the house or whatever, because the weight limit is supposed to be like 10 pounds as far as lifting is concerned. And it's not like I'm weighing everything I pick up, but I wasn't really being careful, and nothing bad has happened. But at my appointment, what I had explained to me, because I just told the doctor, I was like, all right, so clear this up for me, because he's scolding me, he's telling me this is how I feel, what's the sitch? Like what do I need to know? Is it okay? Is it not? And so he just explained to me, don't remember the word that he used. The tissues on the inside say that these are like tissues that are healing, that when you're moving your arm up this way, then say tissue is pulling up against tissue that it's trying to heal. Like these two tissues are trying to heal. and they're trying to bond, right? And then when you move, it's like kind of doing this kind of action, right? And making that healing process that much more difficult. I have backpedaled, and I am wanting to correct myself here because I don't want whoever's out there that ends up watching this, like, I don't want you to see my last video and be like, oh yeah, cool, like I'm gonna be active too. Listen to what your doctor says. Don't lift heavy things. Be lazy. Rest. So dumb. I think that's everything I was planning to talk about. I didn't write notes or anything this time. Hopefully you found some useful information here, and I don't know how soon my next update will be because I'm only trying to make updates when I actually have useful information or something changes. So maybe when the steri strips fall off or when swelling has gone down significantly. If you have any questions or you want to talk to me about your experience, the best place to get a hold of me is going to be Instagram. You can like comment or DM or something there. Thanks for watching.